over the top.
He is. He'll swear a lot. He'll have. Even it said in that synopsis, they're like Wade Wilson. He's got all these abilities and a dark sense of humor. Like
putting it very
lightly. And so I'm really excited about that, and just because then he'll kill a lot of people and they'll be very explicit. That part I don't think is gonna be that bad though. It's not gonna be like blood everywhere.
No, I think it'll be more humorous than gory.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, everyone he goes up against, he knows isn't as strong as him, so he kind of
he can't really. And that's why it's cool with Deadpool is like his skills and abilities are he doesn't train a lot because he doesn't have to because he's just funny and so he'll just shoot up a place and get shot a bunch of times because he just heals, so it doesn't matter, and he's just funny and insane. So I can't wait for the fourth wall breaks. That's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
When he talks to the audience.
Yeah.
When people were talking about, they were speculating that it would be PG-13 because if they bring him in with the other X-Men, which will probably happen. And how are you going to do that over? And I actually think they do that with the fourth wall break because you could put a scene in an X-Men movie that he's in and him try and swear and have it bleeped out and then he'll look at the audience and be like, oh yeah, this one's PG-13 because he knows he's in a movie and that would be so much fun.
That would be.
But I mean you got to be careful with that because you can go a little too campy with that, but I just think that would be amazing if they did that. He tries to swear and he's like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, this movie's PG-13.
Yeah. Well, there's that he does the fourth wall. The first line he does in the fourth wall. No, I guess he sings a little bit in that leaked test footage that they I think they definitely released. See how people. It's just so funny too because he's just he goes down and when he messes with those guys, he's just kind of sitting there. He's letting them hit them. He's and he hits their rolls their car and then has the head and he's moving it around. It's just if you haven't checked it out, it's just great. So you know what we're laughing about.
Everything you want.
Deadpool it was. I watched that quite a bit. It's a minute and a half roughly.
Yeah.
The best part is when he said, "Why do I wear this so people can't see me bleed?" And then he looks at those guys and he goes, "Let's hope they have their brown pants on today." Which is odd. That line I was just like, yep. So, all right. So that is the Deadpool news, both the synopsis and the official rating of the film. All right, now you gotta bear with me with this next name. I'm gonna try.
Okay.
It's 4 A's and okay. All right, so DC, another DC set in movie news, or I guess we were talking about Steven Rose. So the first set of DC movie news for this show today, Killer Croc, who is one of the main, not a main villain, but he pops up quite a bit.
He's one of Batman's in his Rogue Gallery.
Has been officially casted in the upcoming movie Suicide Squad. And here's the name. The guy starred in Thor: The Dark World. I'm going to try and pronounce it. Alum Adewale Akinua Ajabeji. That last one's hard. Ajabe.
I think Alum Adewale. Oh boy.
Akinue. I think I got
Akinue, yeah, that's right. And then
right.
Agbaje.
Agbaje? I like that. That flows a lot better. Agbaje.
Yeah, whatever flows.
I've never seen someone have 4 names. 4 parts of their name. Let alone, that last, he must have, I don't know what he has, but all of them start with an A. All of them start with an A. It's just why?
It's a different
change it to Al.
Luke.
We can just change it all the way up to Al.
Al. I like that. He looks like an Al.
Yeah. So he has been confirmed for Killer Croc. So I'll let you start out, Luke. Thoughts and.
Yeah, I think he's a good actor, and he was in Thor: The Dark World. He was that horned creature dude.
Yep. He's one of the elves that puts the stone in himself to become really powerful. Yep.
Yeah. And and Killer Croc, Batman in the early days was pretty campy and sort of corny. Well, when he first started out really dark, and then when comics became popular, he became more kid friendly. That's why they brought in Hobbit and things. So Killer Croc kind of fits in with that, and like with the DC universe, they differentiate themselves from Marvel by trying to be more realistic and more gritty, and a villain like Killer Croc is kind of hard to do realistically, and I think they could do it because it's just like whatever, a science experiment gone wrong, but Killer Croc is a really cool villain. Like he's, obviously DC and Marvel like copy off each other. They have duplicates, and Killer Croc is just a duplicate of the Lizard, Spider-Man's villain basically. But I think it could be really cool because I think if the thing I like about it is if you played it up as like sort of almost like a werewolf type thing, like where when he like, it's kind of like subtle and he doesn't really want to get too worked up or whatever. But then when they have to fight, he like has trouble controlling it, and he's just like an animal,
Yeah.
Like that's the way I would see doing it, and I think could be really cool. I hope they don't just do like a big CGI monster thing.
I think they will, and I hope they do first.
I don't know, because you could go really over the top with that and be unrealistic, whereas like, I don't know, I would just be afraid it would take me out of it if all of a sudden you're just like,
well, I like the...
That is the official Killer Croc sound
effect. Yeah. Did they hire you?
Yeah, they've been giving me some calls.
Okay. I'm really excited about this news, just because Killer Croc we haven't seen yet, and I know what you mean by they're trying to be more realistic, but I think...
But how realistic can you be?
I think they... Yeah, and I think they say we're more realistic to the point of maybe, I don't know what.
I think their official term is like grounded in reality.
But it's hard to say that when you have your first movie has an alien coming to Earth and a bunch of aliens. You know what I mean?
Aliens are real.
They are real. They are real. But
that actually happened. I don't know if you knew that.
But then they have Wonder Woman coming in, who's a god or the daughter of Zeus.
Yeah.
So I mean.
But and like.
But
no. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I'm just the thing with that is just because when they come out, and I'm not saying like, oh, I don't like DC for calling out Marvel. They gotta like separate themselves. And but when you say you're gonna be more realistic, that's talking like Nolan films. Those are all just like if this were to happen, this would happen.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to get into this thing, which is great for them because they can open up new realms and stuff. And I don't think they should be like, we're more realistic. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand. Like, yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, because Zeus and like, you know what I mean? Like,
I understand. And it wouldn't be. You could do it realistically because probably what most people think of is like the Lizard, backstory, which is he was a scientist and then he did this thing, but. Or else, what else would it be? Like he got bit by a radioactive crocodile.
Yeah. Is that how he actually turned? How does he turn into Killer Croc?
I don't remember because it just like in my head it just molds with the Lizard. I think he was a scientist, but I could be wrong on that. No, but it's a cool villain. Batman definitely has a lot of really cool villains, and the reason I really like DC a lot and always have. Is because they come from a place that's kind of corny and kind of campy and like has those really corny names like Aquaman and Superman and Batman and Killer Croc. But when you have that name, you can make it really cool because like people's perception of Killer Croc is just like an over the top, silly villain, and so I think you could make that. You could definitely change people's perception of that and make it really cool. But I think there's a lot of points where you could go wrong with it as well.
Yeah. I can't figure out how they turns Croc, but no, just because Killer Croc would be kind of cool, but the main thing I'm worried about with DC, and I think they shouldn't be doing this, but obviously, I'm a student and they're the ones making money. But me personally, I'm a little worried that right now there's no debate. Like Marvel is, if you're like, hey, let's have like a competition, which I don't care. Like it's great that they're coming out with all these movies, so I can go out. But if we're being real, like Marvel is the one that's dominating them right now.
Leaps and bounds.
Yeah, and they kind of set a footpath for Warner Brothers they could follow. But I'm worried that, because Warner Brothers said they're talking about all these solo films, you know, which is great. But I feel like they're going to throw too many people into like these upcoming films, and then let them branch out. Yeah, just to kind of get their mention on it, which it depends. It'll work, but you get that same, because people always ask, you know, after the Avengers, they're like, oh, so they all know they each other. It's like, yeah, they do. And then Captain America's the Winter Soldier, like, well, if there's such a problem, why don't the Avengers help out? So the only problem is, I see if DC comes in and does all these characters. So say, I don't know, let's go Batman v Superman.
Okay.
So they got Wonder Woman and Aquaman, but Aquaman's playing a very small part, I heard, like 2 scenes.
Yeah, probably Wonder Woman too.
Yeah. Which is fine, which is great actually, I like that, but...
It's a better way to it's a cool way to introduce him.
Yeah, but it's how they introduce it. So if it's something that if they show his characters like really passionate about, like, you know, you guys gotta stop fighting or something, and he doesn't stop them, you know what I mean? Or something like where he's angry at one of them but won't fight him at the moment.
For which character?
Aquaman.
Okay.
And then, because I heard there were talks that he's actually really mad. He's on Batman's side. He's really mad at Superman for destroying that whole city.
Okay.
So if they portray that, the only problem I've seen is just like, well, why is Aquaman? Because you don't want him to just go, well, I gotta protect my city right now.
Yeah, and like the Aquaman that I want to see, and I think most people want to see, is like somebody who's kind of selfish and all he cares about is the sea. Like, just because he doesn't care, he hates, you know,
I think
surface world, and I think that's probably what they'll go for. And I understand what you're saying, and I think that would be kind of hard. And yeah, when they try and group so many characters in, you kind of it makes you nervous, because if you look at all the movies that have tried to put a bunch of characters in films, it hasn't always worked. The Avengers was like the first one, other than X-Men, because that started as a group.
Yeah.
But that was like those first X-Men movies, which they still kind of are, is Wolverine and friends. You know, it's not really like a big group, but the Avengers was the first one that really, like, you loved almost every character, and like it was so much fun to watch. But you look at, you know, obviously the big ones are Spider-Man 3 and then the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and they just have way too many villains and just characters and not enough development. So I think it's definitely doable, but you have to make it make sense. Like in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, they didn't explicitly come out and tell you exactly why things weren't happening, which I love so much.
Oh, I do too.
Because it's like, I hate when they just spoon feed you a dumb, you know, answer, and it's like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me that.
Yeah.
But in like the Winter Soldier, like they were like, why doesn't Iron Man come help? It's like he was on their radar to be, and it's just a small thing that's happening, and SHIELD, oh gosh, spoiler alert, by the way, you know.
Yeah, well, the majority of people haven't seen it. Will go out and see Avengers 2 and they'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, you know, SHIELD like has tabs on everybody, knows everything. So that would make sense, because you just assume like Iron Man and like Thor's on Asgard, but Iron Man wouldn't know anything was going wrong, you know, because SHIELD has always been good. So why would you even look into that? He wouldn't know until the aftermath, because, you know, Captain America had to go in the shadows and hide. He couldn't call for help, you know, and so that made sense. I think it's just all about how, if you have the right character development, if you have a story that makes at least a little bit of sense. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to make movie sense, you know.
Yeah, and then cause the Aquaman you're talking about, just mad and stuff. He looks mad in the poster.
Yeah.
And it's awesome and stuff. But good, interesting point you said, like, people like those characters in Avengers, because I think that they had time to like them in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want Batman and Superman to be great, and I think it will be. I think it'll be fine and all that. It's just, I hope they just don't think they need to catch up, because the way I see it is, at some point Marvel's going to start slowing down, and DC's going to be at its high point. So why not wait? You know what I mean? Just wait a little bit, because unless Marvel never slows down. I know they have like Phase 4, Phase 5. I know they got plans. So.
But I think you're right. I think eventually I think it's going to saturate the market. I think they're going to start making less money, but I never, you never know, because, like, you know, obviously back in the day, Westerns was a big thing, and people loved Westerns, and then it was kind of like there was a monster movie phase, And then in the 80s and 90s, there were big budget action movies, you know, but then we don't really have a lot of big budget action movies because all the pure action movies just aren't good. And stars don't hold the same weight they used to. So now it's kind of those big, you know, superhero movies, and it'll probably eventually, they won't make as much money as they are now, but yeah, I agree with you, and I think people's speculations are justified because I think most people's complaint with Man of Steel was that there wasn't enough character development.
Yeah, I
for
agree
those
with that.
characters. I mean, I liked it, but I still wanted to care more about the characters. And
Yeah, I like Man of Steel. I mean, if I buy it on DVD, I like it, and I bought that on DVD. And the one thing I guess I didn't like, which they explained so well in the Nolan films, which I thought that he could have just taken a little bit from that element, is, I mean, we knew who Batman was, but what Nolan did was he described why he wears black. He's like, I fight at night. So it's like, okay, it's just little sudden hits. And then describe his whole suit. It's like, how can you fly? He's like, well, this encodes anything you do. And then...
And it wasn't like expositional. It wasn't just like, hey, why are you dressed up like a bat? Well, I do that because blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
like him and just Lucius were talking about this and designing the suit. And the thing that bothers me most about Man of Steel, well, first thing, I guess, is how much destruction to that city, and then it gets rebuilt in one day. Because he's like driving in that metropolis. It's like, if that happened, no one would be living in that town for like a year.
It happened for so long.
Yeah,
it's like,
good
God,
try.
how are you?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But the one thing that I think that really kind of made me frustrated, just because I don't know Superman all that well, I didn't read the comics that well, is when he shows up to the ship where his dad's hologram stuff is, and all of a sudden like he has a suit there, and they're just like, wear this, and then he wears it.
I know. He just steps right out.
And he's wearing it, and it's fine, like that's fine, but they don't explain, if he's Superman, why does he need a cape? He doesn't need it to fly. Like Batman, they said, hey, this like will help you fly, decline. Yeah. So that makes sense. So why does he need a cape, and why is it the colors they are? Why is it red and blue? The only thing they ever put an emphasis on is S for hope.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But then he just,
whatever.
then he just puts on the suit. Like, it'd be like Aquaman walking around with that trident. What does that do? I'm not gonna tell you. I don't know. Yeah. It just does stuff. You know what I mean? It's like.
Yeah, and good point. And they could have just said something like.
And it wouldn't take that long to do it. It's just a couple.
Just one dialogue, just kind of like.
Yeah.
Well, you have a cape because of blah blah blah.
He could have just strictly said, or is it? It's Kal-El and Jor-El. Jor-El's who was played Russell Crowe. He could just. I'm just making this up right now. It didn't happen in the movie. He could have been like, he'd look at him and be like, why did I wear this suit? And he'd be like, it'll be a symbol for hope, as our main colors for Krypton. So they just say they're like, he goes, just BS as it goes. Yeah. It's blue and red, and he goes, now you can be remembered at Krypton. It's like, okay. Yeah. Whatever for me.
That's just something. You know?
Just something.
And that's kind of like what they did with newer incarnations of Wonder Woman was like when she leaves the Amazons to go to America to help Earth or whatever. When they give her suit, when the Queen does or whatever, she's like, here you go, Diana. You'll be sporting the colors of the nation you're going to protect. And it's like, well, that makes sense. Like that, that it's like, okay, it's not just Wonder Woman, like that I was like, that's such a good explanation. It's just something just simple. It's just like, well, you're representing America, so are their colors. And it's like, boom, easy.
Yeah. So, all right, we better move on as we'll talk more right now actually about Batman vs Superman. The second news from DC is the upcoming. It's being heavily reported, and I think it's going to be true. I put Mad. It should be Mad Max. The first Batman vs Superman trailer will be premiering in front of Mad Max, which comes out May 15th. It will be attached to every single one. So you go ahead and start.
This is awesome. I cannot wait, and I can't wait for Mad Max. But this makes me duly, I guess, I don't know, excited for it, because people have just been like, God, where's the trailer for? What's gonna happen? But really, it's Batman v Superman is pretty far out. Like it's a ways away. But I'm really excited, and actually, a buddy of mine is a big Mad Max fan as well. So before, because I haven't seen any of the original, I've seen parts of them, but I haven't seen any of the whole ones. Before the new Mad Max comes out, we're gonna watch all 3 that day and then go that night. So I cannot wait for that. But yeah, I'm just super pumped because I just want to see. I can't wait.
Yeah.
You know, I can't wait.
Same here. We'll talk about, for me, Mad Max, not complete opposite for enthusiastic than you are. We'll talk about that in the trailer because one of the trailers comes up on that. We'll talk about that. But in regards to Batman vs Superman, it makes sense. I mean, it's the 8. Let's see. So
it'll be about a year, won't it?
It's coming out in March. So.
Oh.
And this movie comes out in May. So what does that make? 8, 9 months? 10?
It's a number.
May,
It's a number of months for sure. It's 2 before, so 10 months.
10 months. So, I mean, Star Wars did it a year ahead, a year and a month or 2.
Yeah, but that was like a teaser.
It was very teaser. I think this is just gonna be a teaser too.
Whatever they give me.
If you give out a full trailer, you're just asking.
Honestly, I kind of like teasers better than trailers myself.
Yeah. I mean, because if you give out a full trailer, that's you're committing yourself to trailer. Because I mean, Avengers 2, what essentially they did was they released that teaser trailer of like 2 minutes, and then after that they did an official. They've done 3 trailers total. I think the teaser counts as 1, but they gave you them every month and a half, which is good and stuff. But by doing it 10 months out, if you do a full trailer, you're asking for too much repetition.
I
you know what I mean?
Right. I think that would just be.
It'll
probably just be like 30 seconds.
And it's got to be like the James Bond one, which is very teaser, which we'll talk about the bottom here too. So
it'll probably just be like a shot of Batman looking out or something, and probably a news broadcast.
I hope to see the Batmobile drive.
Oh, I don't know if they'll give you that.
I think they will.
Just like one quick shot.
I think it's gonna be like.
It's also with the Batmobile. So.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be. Nothing to base this off of. What I would like to see is something where Superman sees like a bat signal or I don't know. Like Batman tries to like instead of just standing there waiting for him, he tries to lure him out somewhere. So he like puts up something. So Superman's flying, and underneath you see this car. At the end shot, you see this car just running through something. I don't know. That'd be awesome because that Batmobile looks sweet. So I'm excited for that. And
I think
then
it'll probably just be a bunch of quick cuts.
It will be. Yeah. So that is the Batman vs Superman trailer news, and then the other another trailer news, which is also being heavily reported, is that the Star Wars Episode 7 will release its 2nd trailer in front of Avengers: Age of Ultron, and that'll be 8 months out now.
Okay.
I love Star Wars. Star Wars.
I hate it.
You don't like Star Wars?
I love Star Wars.
I was gonna say.
Come on.
I was about to kick you off the show. Not asking you to come back. Right there. But I hope it's another quick teaser one. I don't want to see a full-length trailer 8 months out. But, I mean, I don't see... Now that I think about it, I loved that first trailer they did, that teaser. I've watched it too many times.
I know, and you're just like, what is happening?
And where's
she going?
Now I think about it, they should have waited, but they got a plan. They know what they're doing.
And it didn't give you anything.
No, it didn't.
No one knows what's going on.
No, it's just like boom, boom,
just
boom.
Like picture.
And a lot of it's meaningless, like a robot running on the ball.